Hey, what's up guys? Your friend Jim here with another video. Welcome to the Mitsubishi Montero channel. This video, it's gonna be a quick video. We're gonna talk about installing the front speakers on the Montero. I noticed that the blue Montero, my new blue Montero, has the original factory speakers, and I had a leftover set that I had from before, set of Cerwin-Vegas, only the front ones, not the middle ones or the woofer out on the back, just the front door speakers. But I did have a set, and we're gonna install it right now. But in this video, we're gonna go over removing the door panel and stuff like that. It's a little tricky. If you're not sure what you're doing, you might break something. So I've done it before, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do that stuff. Okay, so let's go to the Montero and check it out. Here's a new set. They're not new, but they're really good condition. Here's the tweeters. Here's the tweeters right here. And then we have the two, I think these are 5 1/4 inch in diameter. So these guys are gonna go, as I said, in the front door, and we're gonna go over how to remove this panel. The other door is missing this little thing here, so that makes it a lot easier to remove. That's probably the most difficult, the challenging part, because it's got a little clip in there that makes it a little tough, but it's not a big deal. It's got this one's already missing this bolt here, the screw that goes here. So when I find the original one, I'll put one on there, but for now, just leave it like that. We do have to remove this one here. This little thing it's like a little cover. Once you take this little cover off, then you can unscrew it from there. This just pops up like this, and as you pop it out, you disconnect the electrical connector underneath here. This little triangle, that's where your tweeter goes, and basically the way you remove this guy is you kind of like wedge your finger between the glass and the plastic, and then you pull with your thumb like this, and then the top part comes out, and then you go to the bottom and do the same thing. So on the back here, it has this clip or pin, whatever you want to call it, it goes in there. And then it's got a couple more at the bottom here, and that's where those two go. And as I was mentioning, the tweeter, look at that, this is the original one from the factory, and you can tell that it's got a big hole right there. Look at that thing right there. And I always like to leave the original stuff on the vehicle, and as you can see, this one has like a built-in filter. I can see the capacitor right there built into the system. So I'm gonna wire that stuff into the new tweeter that I'm gonna put on here, and I'll solder it so you can have a really good connection. So let's go ahead and work on that, and I'll show you more details once I get there. So here, let's see. So this is the tricky part here. And basically you stick this assembly tool right there. Oops. I'm gonna try to do it with one hand. Now, you know what? I'm gonna get the tripod. Hold on. Because knowing me, I will break something. And I don't want to do that. Alright, let me set it up and I'll be back with you guys. Alright, so you kind of pry on it, and as you're prying it, you kind of hold it, and it kind of unclips, but you can't pull it out all the way yet. There's that little clip that's holding on to the top here, and for that you can use one of these guys and then push that clip out like that. Now that clip that I'm talking about is in there, so when I take this off, I'm gonna get it and put it back on here, so when I snap it back in, it'll go in there. Okay, so that's out. Next thing is the window switch, and the door lock switch. And for this, you have to kind of wedge in there. Obviously, do not use metal on these parts. Use these plastic little pry bars that you can find these at Harbor Freight. There, so that's that side, and then you go to this side, kind of wedge it in there, and it comes out. Oh, this one's actually a little bit different than my Montero. This one, my Montero, when you pull this out, when you pull this thing out, the connector just sits there and then you just snap it back in. This one actually has wiring and you just disconnect it like such. And that's the reason why right now when I pulled it out, it was a little bit easier to remove because I didn't have to worry about disconnecting the electrical part as it is on my Montero, on the other Montero. Anyway, so you get that out of the way. Okay, and then the other thing is the armrest here. Let me put the camera here. So this armrest, basically put the little pry bar in there and it just kind of snaps up like this. Try not to bend it too much. There, see, it has these little locking mechanisms that go in these holes. Very simple. Okay, next step is to, all right guys, this is a little bit challenging, but you have to be very careful. I like to do it with a pick, just try not to mess it up. And then there, I got it. So it's just a little cover that goes over that little screw head. So the trick is try not to scratch it, damage your material on your door. Also when you yank it out, make sure you don't lose it. All right, so we can take this guy off. There was another one exactly like that down here, but it's missing, so don't have to worry about that one. There's also a bolt right here, a screw. See this one right here? Take that one out. Let's get right there. Okay, so now there's nothing holding the door in terms of screws or anything. It's only the clips that go in the door that snap off. So you kind of start. I'm going to start over on this side. See? The whole thing comes out. Fold it down. And there is the connector on the light that you have to undo. There. Just remove that connector. Now the whole panel, you can just move it out of the way. I'm going to put it up here on top of my boat. Okay, so here we are. See, we do have the original speaker right there. We do have an original speaker, which is really ripped. I'm going to remove the camera from here. Alright, so here's that little clip that I was telling you guys about. So that goes back on this little mechanism, this little whatever we call that thing. And then that goes back on there. So here's the speaker. As you can see, pretty ripped up. Everything else seems pretty normal. Since you're in here, it gives you a chance to lubricate some stuff. For example, I would definitely lubricate in here your door locks. Put some lubrication there. Maybe the other mechanism here for the door locks, maybe put some lubrication there as well. And then hook up the speaker and then put everything back together. So let's go ahead and proceed with that. Alright guys, so I disconnected the tweeter and got the wiring out. I'll show you right now on the bench. I got the speaker down here off as well. I'm not going to be able to use the original connector that goes up there, so I am gonna have to disconnect it directly to the wires. That's basically what I have to do. and basically the same process on the other side. So let's take a look here. So here's the tweeter. It's bolted to this little bracket here with these little screws, and then it does have the wiring that's coming into the tweeter. It does have this little capacitor right there. I'm gonna keep this capacitor because basically what the capacitor does, it filters the lower frequency, you know, the stuff that has to go to your mid-range and to your bass. It filters that out, and it's a specific capacitor for that type of tweeter. I'm not sure exactly if I'm pretty sure these are compatible tweeters, but I'm not 100% sure if they're exactly compatible. But I just connected it, just did a rough connection, and it works fine. So I'm gonna put these, I'm gonna hook it up so I can have the original connector at least on the tweeter. As I mentioned over there, I'm not gonna be able to do the same here for this guy, for this speaker. So again, I'm just gonna have to connect it directly to the wires. All right, so let's get these wires connected, and then we'll go from there. Might be a better way to do this, but this is the way I do it. Get the heat shrink right here. Alright guys, so I got the wiring connected to this tweeter, and I'm not going to be able to use this bracket anymore because this has like the mounting. The original speaker has the mounting holes for the screws, so I can't use that. I wanted to see if I can transfer that to this tweeter, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to do it a different way. And the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna use this stuff here. I'm gonna heat it up a little bit and then put it in the back of the tweeter so it can hold onto that little piece where the tweeter goes. I'll show you. Let me grab it from the car. So this thing, put the tweeter right there, and then this is just gonna be kind of like glued on there, but I'll cut it a little bit so it can fit better. Maybe cut this piece right here. As long as it holds on, it should be fine. So basically the tweeter is going to end up like that. You really can't see anything from the inside. It's just gonna, you know, it's just gonna look like that. So I will heat up this guy. I like putting it, when I use the heat gun, I use it on low because it gets hot. It gets hot pretty quick if you do the high setting on it. You want to get the surfaces hot as well. Again, that's why I like to use low, because you don't want to overheat that speaker, but you want the surface to be warm. So now it's a lot easier to work with. So once you put it in place, make sure it gets stuck, and then once it gets cold, it'll it'll be a little more secure in there. So basically that's how it's going to end up, sort of like that. Now you see down here it didn't really stick to the plastic, so we may want to give it a little more heat. Kind of concentrate in that area. And again, the longer you hold it on there, the hotter it's going to get, so just be careful. There. So that's how it's going to be. That's how your tweeter is going to be mounted on this piece, and it's at the original connector. All right, so let's go try it out. You guys want to try it out? Let's go. Let's start the engine. And again, this piece, very simple to install. Just make sure that pin is on there. There we go. Okay, so now we connect this guy. There. Now we got sound coming out of it there. So now once we put everything back together, we just kind of tuck this in there like that, and it's kind of be out of the way. It's kind of like that, just out of the way. All right, so now let's work on this guy. It's weird. Again, we're gonna have to go. Seems like somebody's been down here before. Look at this. Look at, those are holes that somebody drilled on there. Those are not factory. Again, with this guy down here. See that? And then somebody was messing with this wire right there. That's weird. Maybe the guy had like a sound system and he took it off before he sold the Montero. That's probably what happened. Anyway, it's fine. Okay, so let's set up the other speaker and then we'll continue on. All right, so I got the speaker here. These connections down here, I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to put a little spot weld right there on each one, because a lot of times these kind of come off, and the last thing you want is for these to come off when they're connected in your car and you have to take the door panel off again. So let's go put this on there and we will go from there. Now again, I don't know if these speakers are compatible with the other ones. I'm not 100% sure. I think they are. Alright guys, so I got the speaker connected. I have it like mocked connected here. It actually sounds really good. It's got really good sound. It sounds better than the other Montero, but we'll try it out later. But for now, I'm just gonna, in this case, I'm gonna have to sacrifice the factory connector, because I can't get the female connector for these guys. So I'm just gonna have to, well, you know what, let me try again. Let me check it out. Alright guys, so I was able to break this little connector off the old speaker, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna solder the speaker wire on these guys right here, and then now with that we can actually connect the factory connector on here, and I'll just wrap it up with tape or something. But at least we won't have to mess with that harness right there. All right guys, so I got this connected already. It was really hard to solder, so I made a freaking mess, but hey, it works. I'm just gonna wrap it up with tape. The wires are not close to each other. Just gonna wrap it up with tape and just kind of tuck it in here. It'll be fine. But this speaker, man, it's working really good. You can feel it thumping, and then you got the tweeter there. So we turn it up a little bit. Sounds good. Sounds really good. Actually sounds better than the other Montero, as I mentioned before. All right, so let's put all this stuff back together. As I mentioned before, since you're in here already, you may want to lubricate some of the door lock and door mechanism, such as this little handle. Make sure you lubricate it. The door lock mechanism, put a little lubrication on there, and should be okay. Now here's the new speaker wire. I'm just gonna wrap it up with a little bit of tape, especially the area where I started the wires, so it could just be a little bit more protected. Also, on the speaker itself, on the top part of the speaker, I put some of that material to cover from any dust falling or anything falling from the top, to prevent it from getting into the speaker. I didn't show that on camera, but I'll show it on when I do the next one, when I do the other side. I'll show you guys. Okay. Yeah, just put it right there. Okay. Okay, so we got the connector right here. Then make sure this plastic is properly on there like that. Once you have it on here, you start snapping it back in place like that. Tweeter housing goes on there, as I mentioned before. That. All right, this piece, it's got this little clip that I showed you earlier, and then this guy goes in here. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes in like that. And then this other metallic piece goes towards the bottom, and then the whole thing carefully goes in like that. All right, so so that's how that goes. And obviously the switch for the door lock switch and the speaker goes in like this. You just gotta connect it. Very simple. And it's got these little clips on here that on my Montero these guys fell off. It's a little bit trickier on my Montero, but apparently Mitsubishi learned something. Oops, I'm doing it wrong. In 2006 they made it a little bit better, and now that everything is there, it just snaps right in place like that. Okay, and the armrest goes right there. Very, very simple as well. A lot of times when you take this stuff off, it gives you a good opportunity to clean inside, but I'll let my kid do that. I don't want to do that. There, so now everything is back in place. Oh shoot, I forgot something. Dang it, gotta take this back off. there's a screw. Remember that screw that goes in here? Don't forget that guy. It's right there, like that. Like that. And then now the armrest goes in here. And there's that other screw that goes on the side over here. Remember this guy? And then this guy. Remember this guy? Like that. And it just clips on like that. Okay. There we go. Sounds really good. Let's to the other side. See if you can notice the difference. Can't tell much of a difference, but this does seem a little muffled. So, all right, let's take this side off. All right, guys. So this is the speaker for the other side, for the driver's side. And I'm gonna hook up the wires here. These guys are gonna go towards the so it's gonna sit on the door like this. So these guys are gonna go out towards towards the back of the car, basically. So what I was saying earlier, what I did that I didn't show you on camera, is I used one of this material, this like sound deadening material that you can use on anything basically, and I'm just gonna cover the top part here of the speaker like that. Obviously not covering the electrical connection, but just like the top part where the top is going to be. The reason why you want to do this is because if anything from the top of the door, from your window, from whatever falls in here, it's not going to go inside your speaker element, your speaker material. It's just going to like fall off like right here. So that's just a precautionary measure. The new one, the original ones had that, so why not do that, right? So let's do that right now. Basically, this material, just get the heat gun, heat it up really good. Just be mindful of where it's gonna go. It's just gonna go right here. Okay, now it's nice and soft, and it's gonna go right here like that. Just like that. And that's it. So this is going to be on the top. Again, something falls, it's not going to fall inside here. It's going to wash off. And you still have your electrical connector right there. All right, so that's it. All right, guys, this pretty much concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, I greatly appreciate it. Again, I want to appreciate all the new subscribers out there. Thank you, greatly appreciate it. Regarding this video, please give me a comment, give me a like, so YouTube can distribute it a little bit more to other members. And give me a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any suggestions, any comments, just anything. Just talk to me, man. All right. Anyway, but one of the cool things that I think as I mentioned on the video, I like to keep things original. I don't like to cut wires, change harnesses, nothing. So the fact that I was able to use the connector on the bottom speaker with the new speaker this is how I did it. So basically you have to tear out the connector. You know, you have to just kind of tear it out, and then you have to solder the wire to the pins on it. I just kind of did it with brute force with some cutters. Obviously you could be neater and get a Dremel and do it a little bit better, but whatever works, right? So yeah. So this old speaker, obviously it's got that connector built into it, and that's the reason why you have to kind of yank it out. Anyway, once again, thank you guys. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Also, para mis amigos que hablan español, el video de mañana voy a hacer la parte del conductor. El mismo trabajo, pero la parte del conductor. Pero ese video lo voy a hacer en español. Así es que esténse atentos para ese video. Para mis amigos de habla hispana, mañana les voy a hacer ese video. Okay? Hasta luego. All right, guys. I was saying I was gonna do that video in Spanish tomorrow on the other side, because I do have a lot of viewers that are from other countries, Spain and South America and Mexico and stuff like that, and they only speak Spanish. So the other side, the other two speakers on the driver's side, I'm gonna make that video in Spanish for those guys. But anyway, thank you so much. Please like the video, and I will see you on the next one. All right, thanks.